Right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and it's been a hell of a month here. I'll tell you what, February and March are just two of the greatest months of wine drinking that we have here all year long, and our vintage Pomerol tasting did not disappoint. All the way back to 1959, the greatest vintage, in my opinion, that I've ever had, an older vintage from Bordeaux. And these wines now almost 50, 60 years old. Unbelievable. They can still drink good. The Vieux Chateau Saint-Jean, one of the greatest properties in Pomerol, only 35 acres. And, well, that's the thing about Pomerol. Even the larger estates are still relatively small when you look at the grand estates of the left bank. This wine still had a lot of life to it, man. Unbelievable. A lot of that red plum and cherry fruit still showing. Fine herbs, a really exotic kind of floral quality coming out, as well as a lot of earthy character here. Smooth as silk on the tongue. This wine's still delicious. Amazing how much fruit this wine still had left. That lovely spice box and floral nuance from the nose echoing through the finish. Most excellent juice. And on everyone's scorecard at the end of the night was tied. I was the tiebreaker. And at first, I picked Vieux Chateau Saint-Jean, but lucky I go through the wines again the next morning because the 1971 Petrus, just a stunning wine the next day still. And this wine needed some time to open up. At first a little bit closed, but had that classic dark chocolate note, the mint, the plum, the truffle that you get in old Pomerols. This wine's still very rich on the palate. Like I said, layers of fruit on the second day, that mocha note and that fresh earth character. On the second day, like I said, we switched the votes from first to second, but it was really close between the Vieux Chateau Saint-Jean and the Chateau Petrus. The Trotanoy 71, I think, was a close third. This wine was still quite lively on the nose. That dark plum and mocha showing up here as well. Some earthy notes, some fine herbs, really smooth and polished texture on the tongue. A lovely balance. All that nuance and spice from the nose lingering through the finish. Just not quite as rich as the Petrus or the Vieux Chateau Saint-Jean for that matter. The 82 Surton de May had a beautiful bouquet, a little bit more herbal and minty, dark plum and cherry fruit showing here as well. This wine very rich still on the tongue, even some tannins here showing. This wine could go another 10 or 20 years, long lingering finish. This wine beautiful with the Muscovy duck. Wow, most excellent. All right, the Chateau Trotanoy 85. Wow, this was the surprise of the night. This wine only got 85 points. It was outstanding. Man, good amount of dark earth, spice, chocolate, dried tobacco, a little caramely note coming out as this wine open as well. Soft and silky on the palate, just smooth as silk. Then like tannins, like melted chocolate on your tongue. A lot of nice plummy fruit. Drinking at its peak right now. I don't recommend keeping this. If you have it, it is hard to resist. Do not be afraid by that 85-point Parker score. Most excellent juice. The 85 Emmental also excellent. And this wine had a distinct kind of minty, chocolatey bouquet. A little herbal, tobacco notes, slight medicinal character also to the plum and currant berry fruit, smooth and plush on the tongue with a nice tangy red berry fruit like balsamic notes through the finish, and that herbal and earthy character lasting there as well. Excellent juice. The 1988 La Croix de Casse, really nice smoky meaty character to this wine, almost like beef jerky note to the plum and cherry fruits. A little different than all the other wines here, but wow, this wine's still smooth and silky on the tongue. That smoky beef jerky like character lasting through the finish. Very soft and silky. What lovely balance this wine had. Excellent juice, and it hung in there with all these other big name Pomerols. The La Fleur de Gay, wow, fantastic. Wow, the 89 vintage is just singing right now. This wine's got that minty chocolatey note, a smoky meaty character on the nose, fine herbs, a really good deal of plum-like fruit, really smooth and silky on the tongue. I've always loved these 89s. The tannins just really plush in these wines. Wonderful fruit and a long finish. This wine's drinking at its peak right now. You could age it longer, but I don't know why you'd want to. Most excellent juice. The Clinet, which should have been one of the wines of the night, not corked, but just materized, man. It had this dried meat, mushroomy character to it, a bit oxidative. The fruit really not existent at all in the nose, coming out a little bit more on the palate, but this is a monumental wine, a 100-pointer, usually one of the wines of the night. Tonight, the ugly duckling on the table, the Chateau Croix de Gay. This is another one of the Gay family of wines from Pomerol, and black tea and mocha. That didn't sound right. Herbal notes coming out with the dark plum and a little bit of black pepper spice and tobacco. Silky smooth on the tongue. This wine also drinking at its peak right now. Had some nice complexity here, but not quite as good as most of the other wines on the table. I put it just a notch above the La Croix de Casse. Excellent juice nonetheless, as was everything at our vintage Pomerol tasting. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.